Welcome everybody, and there is magic in the air right now as Spider-Man Brand New Day is currently filming in Glasgow. We have new set photos giving us our first look at the practical swinging, the new suit, what possibly the story could be. It just is so exciting to actually be talking about a Spider-Man movie being made. Spider-Man is my favorite character. Personally, it kind of feels like we're back in that Spider-Man No Way Home age where, you know, leaks and stuff were coming out everywhere and there was a lot to talk about, you know what I mean? It's like peak Marvel time right now. We just got Fantastic Four First Steps. We just got Thunderbolts, and now we're getting Spider-Man revving up into Avengers Doomsday. It's an amazing time to be a Marvel fan right now. And with Spider-Man Brand New Day currently filming and the movie coming out in 2026, we're finally getting information on what this possibly could look like, and we're going to talk about it in this video. Okay, everybody, welcome to the channel. This is On The Real Movies, where we watch and talk movies. How you doing? Thanks for being here. We're going to be talking about something that I love personally, dear to my heart, Spider-Man. And Spider-Man Brand New Day, like I said in the intro, is one of the most anticipated movies in Marvel right now. And of course, it's coming out next year, but it's also most anticipated because Spider-Man No Way Home left us off with the character in such a different place that we haven't really seen in the MCU Spider-Man movies before. It's street level. But before we talk about any of that, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel if you like movie content. We do movie content every single day. We're currently at 16 fucking subscribers. Let's go. We are currently at 16 subscribers. I'm very grateful for you guys. Anybody who watches this video, I appreciate y'all. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you guys can help me out, that would be greatly appreciated. I love you guys. All right, let's talk about Spider-Man. Spider-Man Brand New Day is right around the corner. I mean, it comes out in July of next year. And we're already in August, so we are 11 months away from getting this movie in theaters, barring any kind of, you know, setbacks or any kind of global pandemic or something like that. You know, hopefully, fingers crossed, no strikes or anything like that. But we are less than a year away from this movie releasing, which is kind of mind-boggling to me. I feel like we were just getting Spider-Man No Way Home like yesterday. We were just getting the leaked pictures on the John Campea show. You know, we were getting all these kinds of rumors like DoorDash drivers dropping off food to Andrew Garfield having to lie about that on every single video. That poor guy, man, that poor guy. You know, more information is coming out of Spider-Man Brand New Day because they are filming on set in Glasgow, and we got our new, you know, I feel like Marvel kind of knew, and Sony kind of knew that there were going to be leaks, right? So they decided to, out of nowhere, on Spider-Man Day, which was August 1st, on Spider-Man Day, they gave us our first teaser of the suit. We didn't really get much, but then the next day after that, or like 8 hours after that, I forget, we finally got our first look at Spider-Man in the suit. Tom Holland in the suit. It's an official look. You know, he looks great. And I feel like this is what we need, just a simple Spider-Man suit. And that's just the official look. We're going to get into more of, you know, the set photos and stuff. But I say all this because I think Sony and Marvel knew that, you know, because they're filming on location, on set, where public people, right, citizens can walk down the street and just see Spider-Man there, right? They're kind of loving the fact that people are taking pictures, taking videos and stuff. They're not trying to be secretive because it's building hype. I'm making a 15-minute video about Spider-Man set photos right now. These photos are building hype, and I feel like Sony and Marvel know that that's what they're going to do because, yo, let's be honest, the Spider-Man fan community, we run deep. It's free publicity, right? Like, they want these photos to get out because they know, I feel like they know that they've made a wonderful suit, right? So let's take a look at the suit already. We're going to take a look at the set photos. Here's Tom Holland here. We got a good look at the colors of the suit. And, you know, it looks great here, but I want to say, okay, so, okay, let me go positive real quick. I love these web shooters. They look, you know, mechanical. They don't look high tech. Kind of looks like he just built that in the garage, right? The colors on this pop, and it does remind me of the Spider-Man No Way Home suit just a little bit. And I feel as though this is like the perfect quintessential Spider-Man suit. Like this is probably the best looking suit here, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, right? And that suit was beloved, but I feel like they got a lot of things right on this suit. They have, you know, the eyes, the pupils, they don't look too big, but they also don't look too small. The colors on there, they pop. It's clearly red. It's clearly a really nice shade of blue. And I'm colorblind, right? I'm saying all this and I'm like a tad bit colorblind, so I can't even really see what these really look like, but they pop to me. So if they pop to me, they must have to pop to you. One thing I really noticed about how they made this suit now is that it just looks very simple, right? And it's kind of a stigma around MCU suits where they over design it. There's so many lines everywhere. And to me, this just looks like a practical Spider-Man suit, and it looks great. Here's where my issue lies though, and this is more so not on the suit, but how Marvel works. I very much hope that they do not plaster this with CGI. In Civil War, when they were filming the Spider-Man scenes, we had like those leaked set photos of Spider-Man in that suit. It had the raised webbing and everything, and it looked gorgeous. However, they didn't use that suit because they kind of plastered it with CGI, and it made it look a little, you know, dull, right? In Civil War, it kind of made it look kind of fake, honestly. Clearly, these are real photos, and these are, you know, like real life occurrences of Tom Holland actually wearing this suit. So, of course, they look good here, but in the movie, you don't know what kind of CGI or what kind of filter or what kind of LUT they're going to plaster on there, or what kind of color that this particular movie is going to have, because hey, this is a different director. This is a different style than John Watts' original trilogy. And John Watts' trilogy was even different than kind of the characterization of the Russo brothers and what they did with Spider-Man in Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame. You know what I mean? We've got more set photos here, basically, of just Spider-Man being Spider-Man. We also see a little bit of this kind of tank scene, which is really cool. But I mean, again, they're filming an action scene. We don't really know too much about the plot. We are going to get into that in a little bit. We see some set photos of Spider-Man swinging, and which I am very grateful for. I love the practical swinging. John Watts even came out and said, hey, don't do practical swinging. You think it's gonna look great, but it ends up looking really dumb. And I kind of agree with him on that. I feel as though the best swinging scenes in Spider-Man movies have always been CGI. Everybody who says they want practical swinging, they haven't seen like the behind the scenes of what it actually looks like and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see how much of this movie and how much of the swinging in the movie is going to be practical versus CGI. We get a really nice look at Tom Holland as Spider-Man in here, picking his wedgie and, I don't know, doing some Spider-Man stuff here, but he looks great in this suit. And the colors in this picture, I'm not sure if they put any, like filter over it or something, or like boosted the contrast or the saturation or something, but the colors here look great. I really hope that this is what it looks like in the film. If it doesn't, we're kind of just missing out. However, I'm not going to complain. I haven't seen anything of the movie yet other than these pictures, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. And just for reference, this is what the Spider-Man No Way Home suit looked like at the end, and yeah, it does still look pretty similar, which I love. What I really want to focus on here is how simple they made this suit, and how they didn't make it over designed. They didn't just add things to add them. And also, this is not a Stark suit from what we know, of course. I don't know if like his eyes are going to move or something like that, just like how it did in Spider-Man Homecoming and the entire trilogy, really. But this, from what it looks like, it's a practical suit. And if memory serves, Spider-Man in Spider-Man No Way Home, he made his suit from that sewing machine at the end. So this is a homemade suit. And, Spider-Man is a genius, right? He's one of the smartest people in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I wouldn't put it past him to, put some tech into his suit, but it must be minimal. I mean, he probably made his web shooters and stuff like that, probably put some tech somewhere in there, but it's probably going to be very minimal, and to the point where it's not like Iron Man Jr. That's been a really big criticism for a lot of Spider-Man fans throughout the years and these Marvel movies. Overall, man, I'm loving the suit. I'm really loving the suit. Once again, these are set photos, so the suit that they make in real life, it's going to be a little bit different in the movie once we see the movie because of filters and, you know, color grading and stuff like that. We'll see how it looks when the movie actually comes out, when we get our first footage. But right now, I have no complaints. You know, the logo looks prominent. It looks great. Even the back logo looks wonderful. He looks like Spider-Man, and I love that. Also, we know that Punisher is going to be in the film. We'll talk a little bit about what we think the story is going to involve, but we have a set photo not from Spider-Man, but from the Punisher TV special. And if this is what Punisher is going to look like in Spider-Man Brand New Day, since he's going to be in it, I'm happy with this. Again, looks pretty comic accurate. Frank Grillo cannot go wrong. John Bernthal cannot go wrong with him. So yeah, man. I've got. Did I say Frank Grillo? That is not Frank Grillo. What am I saying? He does kind of look like him a little bit though, right? No? Anyway, John Bernthal, yeah, you can't go wrong with him. He looks perfect as Punisher. But that brings me into the question. I feel like, you know, because we're getting set photos, we're gonna get a little bit of what the story of the film is gonna be. If we take into consideration what happened at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. Well, we know where Peter is, right? We know where Peter is mentally. We know that he basically lost everybody. He lost Aunt May. He lost Happy. He lost MJ. He lost Ned. He lost Tony Stark. So we kind of know where he's going into this movie, where he is going to be at. So I wonder how they're going to take that. They kind of, like I said in the intro, they kind of set him up to be this street level hero, right? Where it's kind of classic Spider-Man, where he's, you know, just struggling to pay rent, trying to work at the Daily Bugle, do all that other stuff while balancing the life of Spider-Man. I feel like we haven't gotten one of those movies in a very long time. I know that the original trilogy touched on that a lot. I know that the MCU trilogy kind of touched a little bit on it, but not fully. This is like an adult Spider-Man. He's probably going to be going to college. He's probably going to be struggling with the fact that he has nobody in his life. And also while balancing Spider-Man on the side, trying to keep that a secret. So yeah, it's set up to be the street level Spider-Man that a lot of Spider-Man fans wanted. However, with Punisher being in it and the Hulk being in it confirmed, I have no idea where they're going to go with this. And Kevin Feige has also said that this is a street level story, right? This is like, we're going to go back to the street level. It is very street level. However, how street level is it going to be? The Hulk is in this movie. I mean, of course, the Hulk is kind of a street level hero, but in the movies, we haven't really seen that as much. We haven't seen Savage Hulk. He's been kind of doing Avengers stuff, right? So is this going to feel more like a story of like being Avengers, you know, stuff like that? Like, is there going to be a lot of Avengers talk? Of course, we know that Avengers Doomsday comes out right after this. So one thing I do want to talk about, a lot of people are theorizing that Mr. Negative is going to be the villain, and they're going to kind of take some inspiration from the Spider-Man PS4 game, which I would love. Mr. Negative is a prominent part of that Spider-Man PS4 game. Well, Spider-Man PS5, Spider-Man PlayStation, Sony Spider-Man game. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, Mr. Negative is a great villain, and yeah, I haven't read any of the comics or anything like that. You guys can let me know down below. But we know that we're not going to get Miles Morales in this movie. We are not going to get, like, we might get some hints about him, but we're not going to get Miles Morales because Kevin Feige has already said that, you know, Sony doesn't want us touching Miles Morales until they finish their animated Spider-Verse stuff. So, you know, fair game. But because it's street level, are they going to bring in Kingpin? This is probably something that a lot of Spider-Man fans want too. Vincent D'Onofrio has even teased that he wants to fight Spider-Man one day, and he might be able to get that. And with Kingpin, with Punisher, do we get Daredevil? I mean, we already got Daredevil in a Spider-Man picture. We got him as Matt Murdock, as a lawyer to Peter Parker, but we didn't see Spider-Man and Daredevil suit up. So could that potentially be in this movie? There's a lot of stuff that we don't know. And kind of just getting off that, you know, how is this film going to be different than the other three movies? Personally, I loved the first three movies in the Spider-Man trilogy, the Spider-Man MCU trilogy, that is. John Watts movies, they were great. I had, you know, my criticisms, of course, as any Spider-Man fan would. Some of the Avengers stuff, I kind of just wanted to go back to street level. I kind of agree with the large majority of Spider-Man fans there, where I just want a street level Spider-Man story. But the director, Destin Daniel Cretton, who did Shang-Chi, he says that the tone is going to be darker. It's going to be a darker film. And I feel as though that is what is needed, right? The last movie sets up a darker story anyway, so we should carry on with that, right? John Watts, this is not a fourth installment in the John Watts Homecoming home series, right? This is a brand new day. This is a brand new Spider-Man story, and it's just going to pick up from what the events were and what happened in that last trilogy. So it sets it up to be darker, and I hope that they go through that. And it doesn't have to be dark as in, you know, oh, Spider-Man wants to, you know, end himself, right? Or Spider-Man wants to start killing people and stuff like that. But it should be darker. It should touch on the dark stuff. Did we forget about the symbiote? Like, the symbiote is there, right? So we'll have to touch on that a little bit at least, right? Unless they're gonna wait until Secret Wars to kind of, or they're like the second movie or the third movie, kind of comparable to Matt Reeves' Batman, right? Where he spends the majority of that movie as Batman and just Batman, until at the very end he finally realizes that, you know, he's got to be a little bit of Bruce Wayne too, and make sure that he balances that. So I hope that this has something to do with that. Overall, I think that the set photos look very great, look very promising, and I'm very excited for what is to come with Spider-Man Brand New Day. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Are you excited? Do you guys try to stray away from these? You guys don't want to know anything about the film? Personally, I love behind the scenes kind of stuff. I love, you know, finding those stuff, or finding, like, you know, little tidbits of information, and I try to like piece together what I think and then watch the movie. Not everybody likes that. You know, my girlfriend, she hates spoilers. She hates watching trailers and stuff. So, hey, sorry. Let me know what you guys think down below. Go ahead and join the discussion down below. Again, if you guys don't want to miss any videos, subscribe to the channel. We have 16 subscribers right now. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I know it's a big task, but I know that I can do it. So if you guys want to keep getting movie-related content, go ahead and subscribe down below. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.